Yes, I can hear some of these people, but this is dancehall, and dancehall is pushing boundaries and saying outlandish things. Dancehall is pushing boundaries and saying outlandish things. How comes I don't hear any of these artists saying that they eat the forbidden fruit then, since you're pushing boundaries and saying outlandish things? Oh, there was a guy by the name of J. Amsterdam who said it, and they cancel him, they send him back where he was coming from. But that's different because he wasn't talented, because if it was a talented artist like a Alkaline, he probably could have gotten away with it because, I mean, Alkaline did say something worse. Anyway, enough of that. Welcome back to the Print Screen channel. Today, we're starting our new series, Big People Corner. This is where we have real conversation about topical issues affecting Jamaica. We talk about entertainment, lifestyle, relationship. This is where we have no filter. Well, so we'll keep the conversation clean yet. No filter, no expletives, no degradation of anyone in particular. But on Big People Corner, we'll be talking about a song by an artist by the name of Tilo Lanez entitled Greedy. Now, that is a good song. The song is a good song, and this artist is talented. But the artist said one thing in the song that got my attention. He said one thing. This man said, if a man not spend upon him woman, him for dead. Come on, my brother. Now, he's free to say what he wants to say, and we all know why he said this. It's simple. In the black community, dancehall, hip-hop, black music, it is mainly pushed onto females. Females are the one who are coming to stage shows. Females are the one who are buying the music, supporting the music. Female on average listen more music than males, especially younger, impressionable females. So artists would be smart to market their music to females and get a lot of female fans. It is a common knowledge across every single industry across the world that female are the one who spend money. Men don't spend money unless they're spending money on females. 70% of consumer decisions, 70% of money that is spent on consumer goods are spent by females. So any business that you're going into, females are the ones that are spending the money. And it is even a running joke that when males spend money, a good majority of the time they're spending money to attract females. When men buy expensive cologne, they buy flashy clothes, they buy flashy cars, they're spending money to attract females. So 70% of the money spent by female, and probably another 15% of the money is spent to attract females. So it comes around to the females. They are the one that keep capitalism grinding and grinding year after year after year. So it is no surprise to see this artist and many other artists, including Dexter Dapp, who did a song telling females to poison him, doing songs catering to the females. Can you imagine if it was on the flip side? Can you imagine if an artist came out tomorrow and said, if a female is not whatever, she must die? Can you imagine the outrage, the pitchforks? That man would be cancelled before that song leave the studio. I mean, that song wouldn't even have to leave the studio. The engineer would be in the studio mixing and mastering that song, and then his door would be kicked off like this. And then that man would be drugged and carried to Siberia and banished forever. Anyways, let's talk about men spending money on female. And my personal opinion, I believe that men should spend on female once they have it. In fact, I believe that men should take care of female once they have it. But that is my belief. That is not every man's belief. And if a man believes that his money is for himself and himself only, then that man actually worked his money, and that man should spend his money however he wants to spend his money. It is very cruel and stupid of you to say that such a man should die for not subsidizing the life or the lifestyle of the other gender. That man can spend his money on anything he wants to spend his money on. Whether he wants to buy silly things like Manchester United jerseys, or he wants to buy alcohol, waste it at Game on a Spark, or he simply just wants to spend his money going to the gym, working out, finding a psychologist talking about his problem, or spending money at the bar, finding a bartender and talking about his problem. That man is free to do whatever he wants with his money. But my personal opinion is that if I have it, I will spend on my woman. Probably because I'm one of those fortunate enough to find a good woman. People can change, but at this point, I do have a good woman. Now, the thing about it is that what a lot of persons are not understanding with this big debate and this big thing in the black community that men are not spending on women is that times have changed. This is not like 25, 30 years ago when men had a lot more disposable income due to the mechanism of capitalism and the feminist movement. Society has been reshaped, meaning both parties, male and female, now have the same earning potential. And with both parties having the same earning potential, having the same skills and qualification, in fact, it could be argued that academically females are more qualified than male. In our current society, women are just as qualified to take on any roles and any job, which means that the job pool now will find that there are way more applicants for jobs than it was 30, 40 years ago. Now, when there are more applicants for job, anyone who understands supply and demand will tell you that salaries are now lower. Now, with salaries being lower, in contrast to cost of living, and inflation is going straight through the roof, it now means that now in our current generation, it is more difficult for one to sustain a certain level of lifestyle than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago. That is why it's a running joke that someone who left school in Jamaica, for example, with just 3-4 CXC within 3 to 4 years could have been able to buy a home, while there are persons now with PhD earning 300,000, 400,000 now who are struggling to get a mortgage. The current mortgage in Jamaica will see someone spending 200,000 to 300,000 to get a home in the same area where 20 years ago it was probably 20,000 to 30,000. And if you do the calculation as to how much percent of your wages it will take for you to be able to get a home, you find that you have to spend more percentage of your wages now to get a home than back then. Even in the US, many persons are complaining that 1/3 of their salary goes towards rent. Back in the day, it was like 1/10, 1/5 the most. Now you find 1/3 going towards rent, which means that they're less disposable income now, which means that men now are just simply broke, not mean. You cannot expect someone who is going through the struggle to help you go through your struggles as well. That is kind of stupid. So, this current conversation in the Black community doesn't take into context the current reality. And I think one of the main issues is social media. People like myself who comes and speak certain things which allows people to think that everyone has it and everyone is capable of doing certain things. When I say people like myself, I'm not talking me, but I'm just saying people with a voice and social media. So you'll find, for example, this artist coming out and saying something like this. But this artist is probably earning more than the average Jamaican male and is in a position to be able to do something like that. I mean, probably one of his top plate is more than the monthly salary of the average Jamaican male. And one of his stage show is probably more than the yearly salary of the average Jamaican male. So, he's in a better position to be able to say certain things. One thing I've realized with people is that we are not able to contextualize and we look at the world through our lens and we don't understand what other persons are going through. Anyway, guys, this is the Print Screen channel. First episode of Big People Corner. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and look out for another video dropping this week on the Big People Corner. Goodbye.